ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमः ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Welcome to all the devotees for this session on spiritual perspective of charity. Charity is very well known to everyone, but what is the proper kind of charity or way of giving charity that will really be beneficial? That has to be carefully understood. In the Bhagavad Gita, in the 17th chapter, it is described there are three kinds of charity. Charity in the mode of goodness, charity in the mode of passion, and charity in the mode of ignorance. So there is a very clear definition here given by Krishna, very precise definition, I would say. So the first definition is about charity in the mode of goodness. That gift which is given out of duty at the proper time, at the proper place, and to a worthy person, without expectation of any return, is considered to be charity in the mode of goodness. So what all is told about charity in the mode of goodness? Given out of duty. There is a duty to give charity at a certain for a particular reason or particular ritual, a particular function that is being done, a charity should be given at the proper time, when it should be given, and proper place, the place where the charity is given, and to a worthy person. So here it is explained in the purport by Srila Prabhupada that charity should be given to a person engaged in spiritual activities, to a Vaishnava or a Brahmana, qualified Brahmana. Brahmana is dedicated for spiritual practice. Similarly, a Vaishnava is completely dedicated only for devotional service, spiritual activity. So either a Vaishnava or a qualified Brahmana, one should give charity. Otherwise, if somebody gives charity to somebody else, then that is not going to give you any spiritual benefit. What happens if you give charity and you don't get any spiritual benefit? On the other hand, there is some reaction that you have to undergo for having given charity. That reaction could be a good reaction or a bad reaction. If you give to a needy person who is really in need and who accepts the charity and actually utilizes properly, supposing somebody says, I don't have money to pay my school fee, and out of consideration that this poor person has to get proper education, you say, okay, I will give you money, you pay your school fees. So if he goes and actually pays the school fees, then you get a good reaction out of such a giving charity. You get a good reaction, but it is binding you to the material world. Good reaction is there, but it is binding you to the material world. And if somebody gives, let's say a poor person comes begging and says, give me some money, I want to buy some food and eat. Now, if you give money with the expectation that the person is very hungry and wants to buy some food, and the person doesn't buy food, what does he do? He goes and smokes a bidi or a cigarette or drinks some liquor. Then the result is that he incurs, of course, sinful reaction for the sinful activity of drinking or smoking. You also get a share of that sinful reaction for having given the money for him to purchase that. Are you aware of this? Many people are not aware. Out of some compassion or kindness, they give to some poor person. But whether the poor person is deserving is the first question you should ask. Needy persons or poor persons, whether they're deserving. So, who is deserving? Either a Brahmana or a Vaishnava. Anybody engaged in spiritual activities is deserving to receive charity. Then only the benefit of the charity. What is that? Spiritual progress, spiritual advancement, no reaction, no material bondage. That is very, very important. Then there is charity in the mode of passion. Charity in the mode of passion is described as charity performed with the expectation of some return. You see? Expectation of some return. Or with desire for fruitive result. That means I do this charity by which I will get some material benefit, material gain. Or it is done in a grudging mood. I'm doing it, but some obligation or somebody is expecting. If I don't give it, look very bad. But within the heart, the person is thinking, I shouldn't have given it. He doesn't deserve. But somehow I had to give. I don't like to give, but somehow I've given. So grudgingly giving. All this is charity in the mode of passion. What happens as a result of giving charity in the mode of passion? Charity in the mode of passion results in a person becoming bound up by reactions. Again, it is bound up by reactions. And these reactions are dangerous. They make you obliged to some person whom you are giving. And that you have to take birth again simply for him to liquidate his debt. It's like you have created a debt for him by giving him charity. You have created a debt for him. And to liquidate his debt, he has to take birth again and he has to return what he has taken. And you should be receiving it back because in a previous life you had given it. So this way you get bound up. You become bound up. You're forced to take birth again. And the circumstances, situation in which you take birth, that is also fixed up by this obligation. You cannot take birth as a devata if the person is taking birth as a human being. To receive his debt, you cannot take birth as a devata. You take birth only as a human being. And the situation should be such that he should be able to give you the return the debt, clear the debt. So there are so many entanglements in such mode of passion. It's like somebody, expectation of something in return, they give charity to somebody else. Now, expectation of return means you're getting bound up to that person. So there's obligation. And this obligation will go on, resulting in more and more interactions. And all such interactions are filled with so much of enviousness, or sometimes some bad feeling, or some kind of cold war with the person. Externally, you'll be smiling, but internally, you'll be, feeling extremely terrible in giving or receiving some money from the person. So these are all result of charity in the mode of passion. Then charity in the mode of ignorance. Charity performed at improper place and improper time and given to unworthy persons without respect, with contempt, is charity in the mode of ignorance. See, so many different factors are there. Now, what is improper person? A person who begs money or takes charity and indulges in sinful activity, drinking, smoking, etc. Intoxication, gambling. Such charity is never to be done. Never. And also improper place. In a place where sinful activity is going on, such a place never give charity. Improper place, improper time, at an inauspicious time. Inauspicious time giving charity also is not recommended. Without respect for the person giving charity, even if, let's say, there's a deserving person, a devotee, but if you give without respect, then you are going to get you are not going to get the spiritual benefit. You are deprived of the spiritual benefit, even though you're giving to a devotee, if you don't give it respect. And it also results in an offense to the devotee. Or giving with contempt. These are all beggars. These devotees are beggars. They depend on me. I am such a great person. I work hard. They just sit and eat, simply sit and eat. Like this, somebody thinks and gives. This is called giving with contempt. This is also very, very offensive. Very offensive. Not only that one does not get any spiritual benefit, one also incurs offense. And that offense means one has to suffer in so many ways for having committed the offense in giving charity. So, mode of ignorance is very dangerous. Giving charity in mode of ignorance is very dangerous. So, what is recommended is give in the mode of goodness. Now, even the mode of goodness is binding. Mode of goodness is also binding. Though it is leading to enlightenment and gradual elevation to higher and higher status in life, it is nevertheless binding. So how to give charity in such a way that there is no bondage and you only get spiritual benefit? That Krishna describes in the chapter on confidential knowledge. The 27th verse of the 9th chapter. The most confidential knowledge, not confidential, the most confidential knowledge. Krishna says, Yat karoshi yadashnasi yad juhoshi dadasi yat tapasyasi kaunteya tat kurushva madarpanam. In this, Krishna tells, dadasi yat, whatever charity you give, Krishna says, give it to me. That means give to Krishna. Why should you give to Krishna some charity? Krishna is full in himself. He doesn't require anything. Now, Krishna is telling you to give him charity because he wants to save you from becoming a thief. After all, whatever you have in your possession, to whom does it belong? Everything that you possess or anybody possesses in this world belongs to Krishna. So what are you holding in your hand? If you think, oh, this is my hard-earned money. No, it's not yours. It is Krishna's. If even though you have worked, the result is Krishna's. It's not yours. The result is Krishna's. The result belongs to always the proprietor. Just like you work in a factory. Whatever you produce by working in a factory, do you take it to your home? Can you take it to your home that you have produced it? No. You cannot take it to your home. It belongs to the owner of the factory who employed you to produce that. At the most, you can ask him what? Labor charge or some charges for having done the work. That's all you can ask, labor charge. Similarly, in this material world, the very fact that we are being maintained by Krishna, we are taken more than our labor charge for doing any work. Taken more than our labor charge. So we cannot take the result of our activity for ourselves. That is stealing. That is actually thievery. So we get sinful reaction if we take sinful reaction. Therefore, to save us from sinful reaction, Krishna says, give it to me. That means give it to Krishna. Then you are saved from sinful reaction, no sinful reaction. On the other hand, when you give to Krishna, Krishna is very pleased. And then you make spiritual advancement. You awaken your dormant love for Krishna. You are progressing towards the ultimate goal of going back to Godhead. You are getting out of the material entanglement in this material world. So therefore, Arjavam, no duplicity, simplicity, truthful, straightforward in dealings, all dealings with everyone. Shanti, Arjavam, Evacha, Jnanam, he should have scriptural knowledge. What is to be done, what is not to be done. And then Vijnanam, he should have realized that knowledge, should have realized that he is spirit soul, and Krishna is the supreme spirit, and he is a servant of Krishna. To realize that, Vijnanam, Astikyam, firm faith in the scriptures. These are the 9 qualifications by which Brahmana should work. Next question. Giving charity without expectation is okay, but what happens when they do some sort of service in return? Then you become bound up. It becomes an obligation. Your having given has created one obligation for that person to you. And when the person returns something, another obligation is created. You see, you don't square up like that. It's like you do one punya and do one papa. They don't cancel each other. Punya will result in some material enjoyment, and papa will result in some material misery. Both you have to experience. One will not cancel out the other. No. While giving something can be related to Krishna because he is present in all, you cannot artificially make a connection like that with Krishna. Simply uttering Krishna Arpanamastu is not going to serve the purpose. That is just lip service. It's just lip service. It is not going to give you benefit of giving charity. No. You should actually find out who is deserving. Devotee. Give it to Krishna. Give it. Krishna means Krishna's temple. That's the best charity, the topmost charity, pure charity, perfect charity. How can we know whether the person uses the charity for good or bad activities? Because we give with pure mind. You should not give. For example, if a hungry person comes, give him prasadam. Then you are getting spiritual benefit. The person is benefited materially and spiritually. Hunger is satisfied. And also that person, by taking prasadam, makes spiritual advancement. He purifies his heart. So give prasadam. Don't give ordinary food, because that will be full of karma for you and for the person receiving that food. And giving money is very, very risky, extremely risky. Because these category of people who are really poor, you can't be sure whether they'll use it for food. They may use it for some sinful activity. So don't give money. Don't give ordinary food. Give prasadam. Could it be that we could have been clearing our debts of previous life while we give charity in the present life? No, there's no clearing debts by trying to give some charity. No. Clearing debts happens by giving charity to Krishna. All your debts are cleared if you give charity to Krishna, not by giving to somebody else. No. What is the most auspicious time, date to give charity? That is described in the scriptures for different occasions, different auspicious times, different places of pilgrimage. During an eclipse, so many things are given. But when it comes to giving to Krishna, anytime, you can give anytime. Any time is auspicious time when it comes to giving for Krishna. And that's the best. Place, temple. Temple is the best place. Give charity. And time and person, Krishna. So that is the best time, best place, best person. Giving to Krishna in the temple, anytime you give, it is good. It is auspicious time. In what way can we help the needy people if they need some dress or food? See, helping needy people by actually giving some dress if they need a dress or food when they need a food is actually called daya. It is not dana. Dana is different, daya is different. Daya is compassion. And dana is charity. Charity and compassion should not be confused with each other. Now, when you show compassion to a person who's in need, you have to do it in such a way that the person doesn't become entangled materially. Because if you show some compassion by which the person becomes entangled materially, you get a portion of that reaction the person is suffering or going to suffer. You get a portion of the reaction. So you become entangled. Daya also, to show compassion, to do it in such a way. How do you do that? How do you show compassion to needy people without becoming entangled, or without that person becoming entangled? Do it in Krishna consciousness. Give prasadam, don't give food. Give dress also as prasadam of Krishna. As prasadam of Krishna. That means it's first offered to Krishna, and then the remnants are taken and given to somebody who may be in need also. So that way, every activity, that's why Krishna says, whatever work you do it as yajna. Do it as yajna. Then there is no bondage of any kind. Yajna means first offer to Krishna and the remnants are taken always. That is the meaning of yajna. Similarly, anything you want to give to anybody who is in need also, some material, first give it to Krishna and then the remnants you give it to that person. That is the best way. I'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.